Hello, welcome to the real world.
Also known as 80s Music Twin Ranked. I'm Joel.
I'm Chris.
And we already said what it was. This video will go by quick because we have a band that didn't last very long.
No.
Mr. But when they were here, at least slightly, it was awesome. That's why this band is ranked a little bit higher than you might expect.
I've only Welcome to the Real World album three times.
I had it in record form.
I remember listening to it on that, and I got it on CD, and lost it twice. Had the case both times. I had the case and no idea where the CD was. I had to buy it twice, 3 times.
And I have Go On.
Okay.
In cassette form, and so I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I didn't expand on it. Go On I consider a very underrated album.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, this would be one of those albums I question. It's like, would the band have continued is if they would have put out one of the other songs on their cassette? You wonder, they put out this release and then suddenly the band disappears. Had they put out something else, would people have latched onto that song and then they would have stayed as a band? I wonder. I don't know.
Right.
Like, there's a couple of songs, Control and Watching the World. Had they put those 2 songs, I could listen to the album and you tell me.
I like Something Real.
Yeah, Something Real. I just watched a video though. That is
So weird. It kind of reminds me of Rush's Time Stand Still.
And Simple Minds. All the things she said.
Yeah.
Where they have the band coming through several times. Yeah, very weird. I wonder if it's the same director. I didn't look that up.
Yeah.
And the twang of the guitar reminds me of Eric Clapton on the album August. He does that, which I also relate to Color of Money because that song is from that movie.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, really 4 albums.
Main guy Richard Page.
Richard Page came from a band called Pages. You can only do something like that if your name is also
and the album, the band Page is his previous band. 3 albums, 2 of them self-titled. Called Pages. I mean,
all of them are called Pages.
2 of them were, and then the middle one was called.
So he's like Peter Gabriel.
Could be, yeah. But the reason the second one was called Pages also is because they were bought by. They went with Capitol Records, so it's a different record company.
All right.
But they didn't really do well. They did have their second album, which I can't remember what it was called. It was, but it had they had one song called "I Believe in You." It went to 84. I didn't recognize it.
I meant to. Yeah, I saw they called it a minor hit, and I never listened to it. So
yeah, so.
But yeah,
Future Street.
1984 is really where Mr. starts. Then you get the weird Flock of Seagulls drummer.
But before then, they had these 3 albums that didn't do well.
Right.
But as Richard Page was doing, he was backing vocals in a lot of groups.
He was.
Even Kenny Loggins, he was Heart to Heart. He was on Heart to Heart. I didn't know that.
And I think that Steve George also was on Vox Humana.
Okay, REO Speedwagon.
High Infidelity.
He was on Keep on Loving You, In Your Letter, and Keep the Fire Burning. So 2 keep songs.
And he was weird that you look at this. He was on Twisted Metal's, or not
Twisted Sister.
Twisted Sister.
Twisted Metal is the game we played all the time.
PlayStation. Now, Twisted Sister, the Stay Hungry one, the one there. I don't know which albums he was on, but him backing that band. I don't know if he did Quiet Riot. I thought I remember him doing Quiet Riot.
No, they weren't that popular, but the Pages, the band, the first album, they had a lot of famous things. Philip Bailey from Earth, Wind and Fire was on their first album. Kenny Loggins probably backed some of their songs even, since he did some of theirs. I mean,
I think he did a couple Amy Grant CDs.
Yeah. There's a song Richard Page wrote for Pages that is Who'd I Say I Am or something like that. That Kenny Loggins released on one of his albums.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't a single, but he put it in one of his albums. So.
Yeah, and he wasn't even.
So he was a good songwriter. If people knew who he was.
Even for Mr. He wasn't originally going to be the bass player. They realized, oh, you play bass? Well, you should just play bass and vocals. He was going to do vocals only, which would have been weird.
And he showcased it with their first hit. Broken Wings was their first release single. And that's what.
From that album. supposedly.
Well, yeah. Well, well, that's what I'm saying. When he got famous.
Yeah, supposedly. So, 1984, I Wear the Face.
Why isn't it? Why isn't
Wearing
it
my
It
face.
should be I wear the mask, not I wear the face. Okay, whatever. I wear the face is a Silence of the Lambs kind of thing.
And you
I wear the skin.
You put that album out, and you wonder why they didn't fail immediately. But no, they put that out. Kind of a weird video too. You know, with the I watched it anyways. The girl behind the glass, and anyways, the keyboard solo is a really stupid solo. But there's only 10 songs to rank, which is why we have it in our list. Other words, we wouldn't do it until you rank the five songs or under. But Wikipedia says there's 10, so I went with that. And you know, if they had minor hits, I wouldn't have. But you know, you had 2 consecutive #1 hits.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already done a bunch of bands that can't say they got one. Bruce Springsteen cannot say he had a #1 hit, and Mr. Mister has too. So basically, they're a sandwich, right?
Yeah.
You get the two good burgers, and then the crappy buns on the outside. So I Wear the Face. Don't even bother. Get to Welcome to the Real World. Again, I'll say this the right way. This is their best album, right?
Yes.
But like I said, I was saying Go On is an underrated album. It should be better.
Yeah.
Should have been well received.
They even said our writing. They thought their writing and music was better on that album than Welcome to the Real World.
Yes.
I disagree.
I don't think it's better. I mean, when you look at the lyrics on, I remember when I had the record, you had the big sleeve that had all the lyrics. I'm like, I didn't consider a lot of it all that great writing. It was something you and I could have wrote at 13.
Okay, so we remember, Broken Wings came out, then Curie, and Is It Love?
Right.
They say they released Black and White.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
I don't remember it, but it's my favorite song on that album. It's the song that starts.
It's the best lead of an album.
that little thing that starts the song. That's actually, if you listen to 97.5 Classic Rock, it's in one of their commercials. No,
I see the sound. Gotcha.
That song.
And there's for that song, there's a little middle section where if you just try doing this, you lose the beat because it doesn't sound like the guy.
Oh yeah.
You have to listen to the song to realize, did they mess up?
Oh, I've tried to snap to it without listening to it to see if it stayed, and I'm like,
either it throws you or they did it right and we can't figure it out. But it sounds like a mess up, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yes, but that one and Uniform of Youth, that also, I mean, on the CD at least, goes right in the next song immediately, and it's like really awesome keyboards at the
Yeah.
So, and the third song, Don't Slow Down, apparently was in a movie. A Fine Mess with Howie Mandel and Ted Danson.
Oh yeah, and I was surprised.
I've never seen that.
I knew Weird Al probably didn't do a Mr. Mister song. I knew they didn't have a Christmas song. I'm like, they probably don't have movies either, but they actually do. They did Stand and Deliver.
I didn't think that was for the movie.
Yeah, it was.
The video shows the movie. Stand and Deliver.
It was for that movie.
And that's an underrated movie. It's really good. There's actually a bunch of good movies. Similar plot, where you go into the classroom and do something phenomenal. There's a lot of movies like that. Yeah. What's the other one? Is It Love apparently was at the end of Stakeout. Richard Dreyfuss and Emilio Estevez.
The outro they call it.
Yes, it wasn't written for that movie, but that's a good placement for it. So those 3 songs, basically movies, and then you move. Go On. They had Healing Waters as there was videos for it, so it was released. I think they were trying to do Kiri a second time. So they had the choir in the back. Like, let's do another church song. And what was that? The Border. The Border is probably a song they shouldn't have released. Way too slow. You can't have all fast songs.
In fact, Welcome to the Real, my least favorite song on the album is Run to Her, which is their slow song.
I think that was in a movie too, and I can't remember what movie.
Yeah.
But
and Broken Wings is a slow song, but it's a lot better.
And that I remember reading an article about the worst #1 songs ever, and some guy included that because he's like, it never builds to crescendo. Do all songs have to build to a crescendo?
But no, but he does.
I mean, the guitar sounds like the crescendo.
He's singing the verses like this,
Yeah.
and then he goes, Dick, he's up here now, so it's like a little more intense slightly.
Yeah. The song's all about birds, apparently.
Broken.
There's a crow following him around in the church and on the tree, and he's riding around in a thunderbird. So, and where else? I don't remember what else was there. But Is It Love shows that, he's okay with murder. He's watching on that TV screen the girl kill somebody, and then he goes up to her afterwards like, "Hop in." Now that he's out of the way, let's go. So you got church song and a murder song, and then a slow bird song.
Now, I found this interesting, and this is probably after their popularity in Mr. Mister, that Richard Page was offered lead vocals.
Yes, that
Toto
and Chicago.
Yeah,
because he
after when Peter Cetera.
He looks like Peter Cetera.
Yeah, he was offered, and he turned them both down.
and which is good because Welcome to the Real World came after that. But had Welcome to the Real World failed, that would have been like.
Oh, okay, so it was before Mr. Mister. Okay, I was thinking.
No, it was after I Wear the Face.
Okay.
But before the big hit.
Okay.
So so he could have and. He wouldn't have mixed. Well, I was gonna say he doesn't mix with Toto, but Toto didn't get a new lead singer because the later songs don't sound like the Roseanne and the Africa songs.
Right.
But Chicago, so he went on and they had their huge.
Can
hit.
you name the singers for Chicago that went
No, but even then they went on big too.
Yeah.
Despite not knowing.
You don't know. Yeah. You just know the ensemble. You don't know their names.
That's right. And so the drummer, you know his name? I forget how to. Pat must stump or other.
I read it.
It's a big long MAST ... So he.
Oh, okay. So he was offered a lead singing position in Toto.
Okay.
The drummer for Toto, Jeff Percola, played on one of the albums, right? Of Pages.
Oh, okay. Oh, Pages. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Not Mr. Mister.
No.
Okay. But he played on Vox Humana too.
Yeah.
So that's probably how they knew each other. Through Kenny Loggins, not through that one because that was also 1985. You can't do everything in 1985. So the drummer went on to be the drummer for King Crimson, which again we mentioned them, but we're not
big fans. I couldn't tell you a song.
But he has become the longest tenured drummer of that band. He was in it for 19 years, which was longer than anybody else.
Yeah, different sounding drum sound, that's for sure.
Yeah,
very powerful.
Right, and then so after Go On, commercially unsuccessful, even though I think it's good. But they actually recorded all the stuff for Pool, and I don't know.
Yeah, and did you?
I don't know
if you noticed this. The album for Pool, it's spelled Mr. Mr. Mr.
Oh yeah, they did spell their name differently. But all the songs were done practically at the end of the decade. They handed it to RCA, and RCA's, we don't know what to do with this.
Who is it? There was a group that had their Mr. Mister as a line of a song. Hey, soul sister.
Some band called the
Train. Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember.
One of the few bands that gets their name plugged into a song lyric. How about that?
Oh, now Curie was redone by Mark Schultz.
Mark Schultz for Contemporary Christian. Yeah, nobody's done Healing Waters again, though, right?
Not as far as I know.
Because it could. But Pool, it's done at the end of the decade, but the company didn't know what to do with it, and so they disbanded. And 20 years later, it gets released. I mean, that's like normally that happens when somebody
probably because you can hear everything online now.
Yeah,
on the internet.
When they were being
bootlegged.
They were being bootlegged, but I mean, normally that release 20 years later doesn't happen until you die.
Yeah.
And then you put out their music that wasn't released. But yeah, and then I still didn't catch on. I try to listen to it, and it's a hard listen. So number 1, number 4. 2 and 3 good, but I'm going to go to this. Whether you can do this off the cuff, I don't know. But I got 4 specific albums that I consider underrated albums. In that, I think they should have done better commercially than they did.
They're not all Mr. Mister.
That's no, it's not. No, I'm albums.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we know one did do good.
Yeah,
I said 4.
You're including Go
Okay,
On. I'm
Go
sure,
On is 1.
Yeah.
No, interestingly, I was just checking them out yesterday. I did not know this until yesterday. All of them are from 1987,
Okay.
which is weird because I didn't plan that, and I've said it already in some of these videos. Bryan Adams, Into the Fire. After Reckless, he put Into the Fire out. I bought that record. Really underrated record because it did not do well commercially. Night Ranger, Big Life, After 7 Wishes. You know, so
you're gonna say all albums that you've had?
Yeah, I got that record. I love that album. The start of that album, where it's like, I love that start. So that one, Bryan Adams, Into the Fire. The last one I had in record form, REO Speedwagon, Life as We Know It. Now, side 2, not as much. Not the whole album, but that's got really good songs. Our number 1 REO Speedwagon song, at least.
Well, since you're going to put albums we own, I would say August.
That would have been number 5, but I was following my premise. I saw this. Each of these albums came after a really successful album. August, I don't know, I think came after a successful album. It followed the album that had Forever Man on it. But yeah, that is a album underrated as well. I don't know that many of those became.
Well, it has the song from Color Money too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and I had that record too. Did I have them on record? No, I'd Go On. I had it in cassette form, but the other 4, I think I had in records. All from 1987. And my mindset was buy the record.
And they've had 2 or 3 greatest hits album.
Who?
Mr. Mister.
I read they had 7 compilation albums.
Okay.
In between 3 and 4. How
You don't have that many songs.
let alone hits. I mean, we had to grasp to get 10 for our pool, but we got 10. So let's go ahead and go there. Top 10.
Top 10.
Okay, so when it comes to the hits, this is also something I noticed. Starting in 1984, for all purposes, they put out 2 hits every year. So 84 had 2 hits, 85, 86, 87, 88. 10 hits, 2 per year. Starting with 2 from I Wear the Face.
Yeah.
Which you can
We already know all the ones from Welcome to the Real World will be really high.
Yes. So, I mean, I got 3 albums to pull from. Pool really didn't have a hit. And 0 honorable mentions this time.
Because we only have 10 hits.
Now, we've done that before one time, but we gave it an honorable mention based on what would be next. Can't do that with Mr. Mister. There's only 10 hits. All right, so number 9 and 10 both come from I Wear the Face, obviously. And the first one would be Talk the Talk. I don't believe this has a music video to it. And it's slower than the Hunters of the Night. So Talk the Talk would be number 10. Which
and
means
everybody's
number
going,
9.
what's that? I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Neither we.
Well, a lot of people watching probably don't. Even the popular ones are like, never heard of it.
Yeah. So some of these songs aren't all bad on the list just because we don't know them. So.
Right. The Hunters of the Night, which I talked about, that keyboard solo. I mean, if you're a keyboard player, you probably love it. You're like, hey, attention to the keyboard player.
Yeah. Am I wrong to say isn't Hunters of the Night one of the compilation album's titles?
I think it was. And so this would be our number 9. Oh, by the way, we both put Talk the Talk at number 10. Hunters of the Night, you put at 9. I put it at 8. So you're like, would you rank higher than that? The Border. The Border, I mean, it leads up to a faster song, but I don't care for that one. So that's our number 8 song, The Border from Go On. I have this at 9. You have it way up at 6. Next one up, this would be a fast video. It's number 7 would be Stand and Deliver. Again, from that movie. I recommend the movie as well as the album it comes from.
So if you put all the songs, I don't care for Run to Her that well on Welcome to Rome, but if you included all those to choose from for this list, 9 of those would be on the list for me. Above all the other hits.
Which do you like better, Tangent, Tears, or Welcome to the Real World? Tangent Tears.
Tangent Tears.
I don't care that for those two sound really alike. Those two I can bypass easily. But yeah, there's at least 7 songs that I consistently listen. This is definitely one of the albums, Welcome to the Real World, that I'll put into my cassette or
and listen to
CD
every
player.
song.
Try not Run to Her. I don't do that one. Although
It's kind of like No
it's-
Jacket Required. I don't care for Turn It Off, Switch It Off. What's that one?
yeah. And it's not even called that.
No, I know. I'm trying to think of the title.
Long way to go.
Oh yeah.
Why is it called that?
Actually, you know what? It does have a cool instrumental at the beginning.
Who? Long way to go. You're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, the drums are kind of.
So-
It gets tedious because it's the same thing throughout the entire.
Now I would say this, like when we went to band camp, right?
Okay.
And they had dances.
Yeah.
You can't have all slow. You can't have all fast songs.
Right.
You have to mix them up.
Right.
So you can go ask a girl to dance.
Right.
There is no
Other
than Run to Her. There is no song to put on. You can't dance with anybody to any of the other songs. They're all too fast. Okay, so Stand and Deliver was what we were talking about.
Rabbit Trail.
Yes, so that was number 7. I had it at 6. You had it at 8. And next one up would be Healing Waters, Kiri number 2.
Kiri number 2.
That's what I call it. I have this at 5. You have it at 7. You know what? I won earlier last year. I was trying to watch, some of these bands, see if they were live in concert on YouTube. And
Okay.
Curie did have one at the Ritz.
Well, their video, he's kind of there on the stage.
Yeah, I watched this one specifically in concert. It was not even. It might have been 45 minutes only, but because you can't do more than 45 minutes for them. But even this band shows you, man, you got some people who know how to play.
Were they
instruments.
ever on their own for concerts? I would assume they would just be an opening band.
Yeah,
Opening
I don't think that. Yeah, maybe at the tail end of that.
I don't know
tour.
because they didn't have enough songs.
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
Unless you're like some bands that will play the entire album.
yeah, we're gonna rock all night. It's 9. We're done.
But I'm just saying, when you watch them play their instruments, you're like, people today, you can't go off onto a drum solo, you can't go off onto a keyboard solo. Not very many good guitar players.
Today you won't see any instruments on the stage. It'll be dancers. And,
Yeah. Not only
They
that,
don't play
okay.
their own instruments.
I was just thinking about this. Okay, so you had your topic where he got offered 2 lead singing positions to
Yeah.
bands. Can you do that today? Are there any specific bands you're like, we lost our lead singer, who do we get?
Oh yeah, because the lead singer is the band.
Yeah, not only that, but I mean, how many bands are there where you know the lead singer? And if you did switch, nobody's gonna care. Did they switch? I don't know. Who is it? I didn't know the first guy. But yeah, back in the 80s, you knew the members and they were interchangeable. Sammy Hagar going to Van Halen was a big thing. Would that be a big thing nowadays? Probably not. Interesting. Okay, where are we at? Number 5. Broken Wings, the first number 1 hit, slowest song. That was a hit, so that's why I said
Yeah,
number
well, but it's
5.
up there. As the slow song goes, we usually have it at the bottom, and we got this up
Right,
there.
and that's number 7 for me, number 5 for you. I did read that Rick Springfield did a duet with Richard Page of this song. I don't know if he put it out on the radio, but both of them are same age, so you got 2 old dudes singing Broken Wings. Is It Love? Both of us have this one ranked at number 3, and what was I gonna say about this one?
But it's at 4 on our list.
Yeah, number 4 on our list, but we both have number 3, which means we veer on something.
Yeah.
But this would be the one where I say there's a drum solo. That middle, it's drums, right? And keyboards. It goes back and forth between the drums and the keyboards. And then Something Real is next. That's my number 2. Your number 4. And again, I should have checked who the director was because I think it's the same guy who did those others.
Oh, right, okay.
Then that would be our number 3, and that was the reason I bought that album. obviously, because
That album, because
that's the only song they put out, right?
I really that particular video, Is It Love, is I like his haircut.
Well,
His hair.
something real, but yeah, let's go with something.
All right, but when I think of something, I have to go back. Is It Love, the video?
Right.
I think that was his best look with his hairstyle.
Maybe. You know what?
Because if you look at later stuff, it's like, oh, he changed his hairstyle.
He did. And I mentioned, yeah, in that album, Go On, he adopted the Steven Seagal look. That little ponytail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's Steven Seagal's look. Because he was popular around.
Not now.
Yeah, not now.
Now Steven Seagal's look is bloated.
But yeah, have you seen Richard Page now? He was on that Professor of Rock.
Yeah.
He does not look.
Well, nobody does later.
I know, but
later.
you're like, I mean, it's like a stark
35
comparison.
Years. 35 years ago? Jeez.
I mean, you look at it, it's like, that's the same guy. So, I don't know. So that's Something Real at number 3. Right? Is It Love at number 4. Now, I had Something Real 2 again, my second favorite song. That's why I bought that album. You know, you think, Welcome to the Real World is good, and I like the start, so let's go get it. And you had that one at 4. And number 2, you guessed, would be Black and White, because that's your favorite song.
Yeah.
But it's obscure, so you knew I probably didn't have it up that high.
Yeah.
So I have it at 4. I still have it pretty high. Because that is a good start to the song. And despite the distracting sound in the middle, I still like it. So that's our number 2 song, Black White. Backslash white. Not black and white, it's black white. And that means our number 1 song, which I put at number 1, you put at number 2, would be the song everybody loves, and that's Kiri. And, if they didn't play that...
Don't your boys hate it, though?
Yeah, maybe. They didn't play at Live Aid.
Okay.
But supposing they had their own little thing at Live Aid, that could have rivaled Queen's Radio Gaga. Because, like, when you see on the video, when they're a cappella, or just
acapella, just the drums
only, and they're going. They couldn't get people doing that. That would have rivaled Queen. Although they didn't have the longevity of the hits. Queen had a lot of hits behind them, so I don't think they would have overtaken them, but it would have been close.
Yeah, and Queen will be a couple weeks.
Yeah, we have Queen in a couple weeks, and you guys will all disagree with that list for sure.
Not next week. Next week's band is nothing special.
It'll be our 3rd Southern sounding act.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, let's not go. Yeah, are you thinking on the spotted jokes?
No, like, what? Is it our 38th band that we have on our videos? Or
That would be
funny.
That would be funny. I don't think it is. It's close. I should have tweaked it on purpose. Dang it! All right, so you know what it is now. Anyways, that's our next band. This was Mr. Mister, and that's our next band. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, go on.